I rode a motorcycle I didn't know while chasing fast riders on curvy roads. I battled crazy weather conditions and had to crash land the drone. And I finally got to meet someone who's responsible for this entire operation, one of the MOTOURISMO founders himself. Spain treated me well.
Come along to ride southern Spain, one of the most scenic and motorcycle-friendly regions in all of the Iberian Peninsula. Greetings from sunny Andalusia, where Lennart has just completed a 7-day on-road tour on a Triumph Tiger. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it this time, but I'm really curious to hear all about it. So Lennart, how was the tour and what was the tour concept in the first place?
Well, the tour was amazing. We did 7 days of riding through Andalusia, and I think I've seen almost everything that Andalusia has to offer. The concept of the tour is also a very interesting one, because the concept is to ride the tour on your own motorcycle. And the tour guides have a shipping service. So they shipped all the motorcycles to Andalusia. The riders flew in, they picked up their bikes, started riding the tour, and after the tour their bikes would be sent back home.
Yeah, our motorbike tours are always with the own bikes of the clients. We say you should travel with your own bike, and because of that we transport the bikes from home. We pick up the bikes in Germany and we transport the bikes to the start of the tour.
So on average, like how many kilometers would you do a day? Did you stay in the same place or traveled all around? What was that like?
So we did about 300 kilometers a day on average. I think every day was a little bit different, maybe between 250 and 400. The roads were mostly very smooth, twisty and scenic as well. So it was a very doable tour, especially on a big bike.
Do tell me about the bike. What is it like to ride a Triumph Tiger? What was it?
Yeah, a Triumph Tiger 1200, and I think it's from 2020. Doesn't even matter, it's the newest bike I have ever ridden, and it was a whole experience. Highways, faster roads, it is a lot of fun, especially in sport mode. First I had it in normal mode all the time, and then I was kind of like, oh, is this it? Is this a 1200 motorcycle? Kind of boring, but then I discovered the sport mode, and then it really does what it's supposed to do, I think. The stability of the bike, how smooth it is, all the different settings you have on the screen, and yeah, it was very nice to ride it, and especially for a tour like this, it is perfect. Like, everything is nice and you can sit on that thing for hours and hours and hours. So.
There you go. I have to say I'm a little bit jealous, but only a little bit. Right, so the bike was awesome, the roads were awesome. What were the other riders like?
Well, the other riders, this was actually quite funny because I completely misjudged those riders. I thought it would be a very tranquilo and slow tour if we talk about the riding. However, I was completely wrong. These guys can ride. riding fast as well. Not fast in a way that it was dangerous or something, but like in a way that it was not slow, let's say. And I do think this also has to do because of the fact that this whole tour was a whole group of friends. So all the guys knew each other, all the riders. They also knew from each other like how fast they could go and stuff. And I do think that this is a difference if you compare it with other tours where there are a lot of different riders who maybe not even know anyone who is in the group, because then the first day or the first 2 days you really have to feel like how fast can we go. And in this case there was just this speed and we just went for it and it was great.
I'm Bernd, 75 years old, and riding this trip, it's to meet people, to be on the way. Of course the landscape, roads, very easy, smooth driving, just okay. The locations are okay here, nice cafe, tapas. That's why we are here.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a nice flow because most of the riders knew each other, but a lot, like on a tour, a lot depends on the guide as well. Can you talk a little bit about the tour guides?
Yeah. Well, the tour guides also knew this group, so that was also a big plus. They have been riding together with this group multiple times.
We are very often on the way with Andre, so Sardinia, Portugal, Morocco.
Andre and Anna, they were amazing. Andre and Anna are a couple, and Anna is sitting on the back, and I do think that she's now even getting her own driver license, nice. So I'm very curious if we're gonna ride a tour with them again. But they were very friendly. They really had a certain rhythm and a system that everyone just listened to them and everything just went very smooth.
Okay, so the roads were cool. You were enjoying the bikes. There was a nice flow within the group. What were the landscapes like?
Yeah, the landscapes, they are out of this world. Andalusia is a place that I do think a lot of people, when they think about Spain or Andalusia, they think about beautiful beaches and sunshine and stuff like that. And yes, there was sunshine, there was also rain, but especially the fact that it's not only beaches, but if you go inland, you have beautiful mountains, you have beautiful roads. Yeah, it is amazing, and you are constantly surprised behind every corner. There is a different scenery. So
Yeah, Andalusian, it's so beautiful because you have so many different landscapes, and it changed a lot. Start the morning on the beach and you go half an hour inside of the country, and you have olives and mountains, even the desert. You can go to Almeria and it looks like in a Western movie. So it's very interesting. You have a lot of different things, and because of that, Andalusia is so beautiful.
we slept in different hotels almost every day, and yeah, actually all the hotels that we went were, compared to what we normally go to ourselves, was pretty high standard. Yeah. Last night and the night before we've slept in the same hotel, and that was actually pretty nice because we could leave all the stuff, and I also took off these boxes from the Tiger. Riding without the boxes is a little bit more comfortable even. And tonight we are actually staying 3 days at the same hotel. It's a different one than yesterday, but it's gonna be very good, I think. To just leave all the luggage, only bring the top case where I carry all my camera gear. I did not get to ride everything on my own because the co-founder of MOTOURISMO, called Michael, he actually also joined the tour. And this was pretty cool because I've never met Michael in person, and there he was. We got along very well, and we went together on shooting missions as well. We even had a little bit of a big adventure when I was flying the drone. The wind was way too strong, so the drone just flew away when I was trying to get it back. So that was this very stressful moment. In the end, I had to crash it somewhere against a mountain, and Michael and I had to try to find it and rescue the drone. So happy. Luckily the stone got around someone otherwise. And afterwards, we had to ride pretty fast to catch up with the group again. So it was a big adventure.
What about the food? I mean, you can't visit Andalusia and not talk about the food.
When we were riding during the day, we stopped somewhere to have lunch. This was most of the time a local place, so you could really get some good tapas or soup or other Spanish dishes. In the hotel we had our dinner, and these dinners were also very special because you had buffets that you could just get whatever food you wanted, and those buffets were pretty good. But you also one evening we had this big pan full of paella, like paella for everyone, and this was, I think, the best paella I've ever eaten.
So I wonder, for people who are watching this and wondering, who is this tour for? Like, what kind of riders should maybe opt for this tour if they're hoping to ride somewhere in the south of Europe?
Well, having experienced this tour myself, I do think that this tour is especially for people who are busy in their daily life. They don't want to plan their own trip and they just want to see Andalusia, go and ride, have a lot of fun, have nice food, good hotels, friendly people, and the whole package. And people who want to ride on their own bike in Andalusia. And I do think that it's even for people outside of Europe, people from the US, people from Canada. This is also a very interesting tour because Andalusia, I personally think that it's one of the most scenic places of Europe. Of course, there are a lot of other places, but this one is very special, this area. And there is a possibility to also get a rental bike, just like I had. So therefore, this is also a very attractive tour for international people, I think. So this time around, I had to ride the whole tour by myself and Egle was not there. However, next time it might be the other way around, because next time we will be riding a women's tour and Egle is organizing the tour.
That's it. It's time to get out of Europe, however much we love it. We're headed for Central America this time around and aiming for Belize, a tiny Caribbean country where I will be leading a women's adventure motorcycle tour, and Lennart is going to be documenting the whole adventure. So make sure you stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and make sure your notifications are on so you do not miss out. Next stop, Belize.